was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Get a load of this red-hot new film that's being promoted by the New York Times, by Business Insider, all over the place, and you won't believe the theme of it. Take a look.
I invited Danny to come this week. You know what she's been going through? It's sort of a crazy festival. Special ceremonies and dressing up.
That sounds fun. How long have you two been together?
Just over 3.5 years.
4 years.
Really?
Yeah?
It's like another world. Tomorrow's a big day.
Is it scary?
I don't know why you invited us.
We only do this every 90 years.
Human sacrifice? Boy, I'm sure glad that doesn't happen in the real world and only in movies, and that there's sick enough people out there like this director who actually was just so artistic and creative that he came up with this idea based off of nothing. He just thought of it on his own because human sacrifice doesn't exist, and he made this artistic film to scare people. Ooh. Or he made it to desensitize people, because this isn't the first time that we've seen a film where the focus is on human sacrifice rituals, right? Take a look at the, obviously you see the symbolism inside the giant pyramid. Give me a break. They light the people on fire. That is how the movie ends, with a human sacrifice ritual, quite like the film The Wicker Man, if you've ever seen it, which is another movie with human sacrifice. Boy, and it looks a lot like what happens on those pagan holidays, those solstices. But of course they go, no, but just because we're dressed like them and we're dancing in circles like that, and we're doing all that stuff, doesn't mean we do the human sacrifice part. Of course not, because, well, what are you going to do? You're going to publicly tell all of us that you're doing human sacrifice rituals so you can all get arrested? I mean, duh. We don't expect you to come out and admit it, but that's what people like me are here for. To make people go, oh yeah, it does make sense. This stuff is happening. This film, which is, listen, I know people out there, they like horror movies. I grew up watching, the Nightmare on Elm Street kind of stuff. Not, being obsessed with them or anything, but those are the horror movies I grew up with. They've taken quite a turn from Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger, from those types of characters. Now the horror movies are mainly these types of movies. They're either demonic possession, because demonic possession is real and they're desensitizing people to it. So films like Paranormal Activity, The Conjuring, or films like this, Midsommar, right? Where they're at this day festival. It's a festival, and ooh, we're going to travel over there. And, somebody targets the girl for the human, they're targeting these people to be sacrificed in America, bring them over, to Sweden. And I'm sure this is really great for for the Swedes over there, for their tourism. Actually, it probably is. You'd think it would probably scare tourists away, but they're probably like, oh, let's go over there. That sounds cool. They have festivals like that? They're not really going to kill somebody, right? You see somebody jump off a cliff in the trailer. You see, like I said, a giant pyramid at the end, and everybody just gets lit on fire in it, And of course, the characters have to have the name. One of them's Donnie, and then the man, or whatever you want to call him that. His name, of course, is Christian. So the one who sacrificed goes by the name Christian. But that can't be, a coincidence, can it? Nah. No. It says Ari Aster, who is the director of this film. Hold on, I'm scrolling. I want to read about the sacrifice part. It says the sacrificial burning at the end calls back to the ending of The Wicker Man, in which the outsider main character is placed in a wooden statue and set afire. Astor and his team spent months researching Scandinavian and Germanic folklore. And they scattered Easter eggs throughout the film, which also hint at the culmination of the characters' relationship, major plot points, and other characters' deaths. So they were just studying folklore, you know, and they were like, yeah, I mean, this is folklore, this is fiction, but wouldn't it be cool, you know, folklore? And we made, I mean, folks, this is what happens, this is what's going on in reality. Human sacrifice has been going on since the beginning. You know, this goes back to ancient Egypt, if not before. And these are rituals, satanic rituals. Now, they don't show that in the movie. They don't make it seem like they're summoning Satan. But these are the types of things that actually do occur. And the problem is that nobody wants to believe it's going on, but they're showing it to you in movies because they're desensitizing people, and they're making people think that this is just all fiction, because then if someone like me talks about it, they go, you believe that guy believes? This crazy guy on YouTube, he believes that the stuff that goes on in these movies is the real stuff. As if these people would come forward, right? As if they come like, oh, we had 100 people up in the woods in Bohemian Grove, or more than that, but let's just estimate it down, say, oh, okay, hundreds of people in the woods at Bohemian Grove. Nobody questions what they're doing, right? Because they're all CEOs and they're, heads of corporations. Do you think that they're going to come out and they're going to be like, here's video of us in robes and we're sacrificing these people and we're going to eat them after? Yeah, that'll work really well for the CEO of Coca-Cola and whoever else is there. I'm sure it will. It says another illustration in the movie shows people cutting their hands as a sacrifice, which is another common bloodletting ritual. Okay? Bloodletting, cutting yourself, using blood. Remember the West Memphis Three, when I've talked about them in the past? They had their blood contract with Aleister Crowley. They cut their hands and they signed their signatures in their contract with Aleister Crowley. They're selling their souls. They signed it in their blood. Right? Blood is always used in these rituals. Aleister Crowley even talks about that. Human sacrifice is the purest form of magic. Right? And for all these people who are obsessed with magic, what do you think? That they just go, well, I'm obsessed with magic and I want to do all this stuff for magic, but I won't go that far. Well, they get away with it. So if they get away with it, don't you go, oh, well, if these people are getting away with it, do you think they'd actually do it? Of course they would. Because these people are soulless. These people don't have the Holy Spirit. These people aren't good human beings. They're damned. And they walk amongst us. And they need to be called out for the unfruitful things that they do. In secrecy. But again, it's just a movie call. It's just a movie. It says soon after, in the film, an old couple cut their palms atop of a cliff right before they jump to their deaths. Also covering the walls are many runes in ancient language and features heavy throughout the film, which you can see there's sigils all over the place in the movie. Right? These are all satanic occult sigils. You see them on the walls, you see them, inside of the pyramid, right? But again, it's just a movie, right? And it says each character, which we can see clearly on their robes, has a rune name. Tony has an R rune on her dress, which symbolizes a ride or a journey. I mean, this is all just, and this is putting it in a spotlight where it's like, ooh, you gotta see it. It says the first bloody sacrifice we witness in the movie is that of two senior members of the community who throw themselves off of a cliff, which you just read. This tradition is called at-istupa. Oh, what a tradition to have, right? Throwing yourself off of a cliff is now apparently a tradition. It says it's based off of Nordic legends in which people would commit ritual suicide when they grow too old to care for themselves any longer. It sounds like a fun ritual. I guess that's going on all over the place because people are jumping off the bridges all around America. And it's sad. It's because people are just covered in chemtrails, can't deal with their emotions, and they're beaten down by the government and beaten down by debt and depression and anxiety. But to them, it's a tradition, right? And it goes on to talk about all the rituals that take place in the movie, which I don't need to read. But I just wanted to point it out because it's just another one of these movies in the mainstream. Midsommar, right? And they're pretty much showing you what happens at these solstices. But of course, like I said, nobody's going to ever come out and admit it. No one's ever going to come out and go, oh yeah, that's the stuff we do. Instead, they're going to just go, this guy's nuts, because he thinks this stuff's real. We're just getting the ideas to do these movies from folklore. Folks, more truth in the movies than in the news. That's a fact. Human sacrifice has been going on, is still going on, and will continue to go on. One of the ways to human sacrifice and get away with it, it's called abortion. You ever wonder where people go when they go missing? What do you think, they just go into the woods and no one ever finds them? Like, oh, so-and-so's been missing for 20 years. And people just are like, oh, Michael Myers must have got her out in the woods, or Jason Voorhees, and buried him in the woods, and we're never going to find him. I'm not saying every single person. But seriously, you can't go missing in 2019 if you wanted to. Trust me, I would try it if I could, to get away from this nightmare of a reality that we live in. So, Midsommar, folks. Just some human sacrifice rituals. Nothing to see here, folks. It's just a movie. These things are all folklore. Give me a break. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your